factor problem number 1. 16x squared 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 24x squared 1, 2. Cancel out common terms. (16y to the third over 24). 16 and 24 both divide by 8. 8 will go into 16 2 times. 8 will go into 24 3 times. The final answer is 2y to the third 3. In problem number 2, to factor out the common term, in the numerator, these will both divide by 3x. That would leave x plus 2. I have an x plus 2 on the bottom. X plus 2 cancels x plus 2. The final answer is 3x. To factor the trinomial, I've got my scratch paper here, and I am going to write down the factors of 9. 1 and 9, 3 and 3. This pair will add together to get me this 6 number right here in the middle. So the numerator factors into x plus 3, x plus 3. If I multiply that, I get a negative 12. The factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Since this is a negative, I need them to subtract to get a negative. If this is negative, I need the bigger one to be negative so that they will equal to a negative 1. So this is going to be x plus 3, x minus 4. This x plus 3 cancels that x plus 3, and my final answer is x plus 3 over x minus 4. Minus 25 is a difference of a perfect square. This is a negative 25, so this factors into x plus 5, x minus 5. On my scratch paper over here, the factors of 25 are 1 and 25, and 5 and 5. If the signs are like this, that adds up to equal a negative 5. So this is going to be x minus 5, x minus 5. This cancels that. The final answer is x plus 5 over x minus 5. To factor, when the leading coefficient is not 1, you multiply the first times the last number, and that would be, on my scratch paper over here, a negative 10. The factors of 10 are 1 and 10, and 2 and 5. Since this is negative, these have to be different signs. If this is negative, this will add up to the 1 in the middle. Because this number is not 1, I have to do my longer factoring. And so 2x squared minus 1x plus 10x minus 5. Factor by grouping. This will factor out an x. This will factor out a 5. When you factor an x out of this, you have 2x minus 1. When you factor a 5 out of this, you have 2x. 5 divided by 5 would be minus 1. I see a common factor of 2x minus 1, and so this is going to be the factoring for the numerator. 2x minus 1, x plus 5. The denominator is going to factor. 2 times 4 is 8. The factors of 8 are 1 and 8. And 2 and 4. Since this is positive, the signs have to be the same. Since this is negative, I need them to be -1 and -8. Again, this number right here is not 1, so I have to do the factor by grouping. This factors out an x. This factors out a 4. If this is negative, I need to factor out a -4. If I take an x out of this, I have 2x left. If I take an x out of that, I have 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 4 divided by 4 is 1. Positive divided by a negative is a negative. 2x minus 1 is the common factor. X minus 4 is the second factor. That is my denominator. 2x minus 1, x minus 4. Cancel, cancel. X plus 5 over x minus 4 is my answer. Problem number 6. 2 times 12 is -24. The factor of 24 are 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Those are the factors of 24. I need a pair that are going to have different signs and equal to -2. If the signs are like that, they would equal -2. So 2x squared minus 2x minus 12 becomes 2x squared plus 4x minus 6x minus 12. I factor a 2x out of this pair and a -6 out of this pair. If this number is negative, I need to factor out a negative. If I factor out a 2x, I have 1x left. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and the answer x's cancel. And so that's going to give me 1x, and -12 divided by -12 will give me +2. 1x plus 2 is the common term. 2x minus 6 is the second term. That is the factoring for my numerator over here. 1x plus 2, 2x minus 6. I notice on my denominator that a 4 will factor out of the denominator. So before I do anything else, I am going to factor out a 4. 4 will go into 25 times. 4 will go into 24 6 times. So I'm going to have a 4 in my denominator when I factor out a 4. The factors of 6 is what I need next. 1 times 6 is 6. The factors of 6 are 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. If this is positive, they need to be the same, and that will add up to a -5. Since this is 1, I can use my shortcut factoring. It looks like nothing's going to factor here. But what about this term? Doesn't this have a common factor? I can factor out something else out of this term right here. So I'm going to have x plus 2. That's this term right here. This will factor out a 2, x minus 3. And then my denominator is 4, x minus 3, x minus 2. And so then the x minus 3 will cancel the x minus 3. 2 will go into 4 2 times. So what's left after all of my canceling is finished? On the numerator, I have an x plus 2, and in the denominator, I have 2x minus 2. That is my final answer. Problem number 7 is a multiply problem. In order to multiply, you multiply numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator. 3 times 10 is 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. X to the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 6 is 30. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the 30 cancels with the 30. One of those cancels. One of those cancels. Cancel. Cancel. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one cancels this one. These two cancel these two. These 3 cancel these 3, and so all I have left for my final answer is x squared. The rule for division is turn the second one over and multiply. So this would be 10x to the third power 9x times 5x squared over 8x. So 10 times 5 is 50. 1, 2, 3. X to the third power, x squared. 9 times 8 is 72. X. This x cancels that x. This x cancels that x. These are both even numbers. They both divide by 2. That will be 25 when you divide it by 2. That will be 36 when you divide it by 2. So we have 25x to the third power over 36 as the final answer.